already starting. I know I'm being recorded, so it'll be weird.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. You gonna tell people who you are?
Hey, what's up? I'm Zach Shed, bass player for Hank 3 and Ass Jack. And we are in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And this is Devlin Carver.
Everybody knows who I am. Alright, let's go over, how did we meet, Zach?
We met at the Muddy Roots Festival.
We did.
In somewhere in Tennessee.
Cookville.
Yeah, it was a wild weekend.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was a good effort. You know how festivals, especially like grassroots festivals, you know, I'm sure if they stick with it in a couple of years, it'll be way better. I thought I had fun.
I did too.
I liked how there was no people there because you could run around and do whatever you wanted. And
well, it was like Uber fans and musicians. That was all that was there.
yeah, it was just pretty much like a party for the musicians.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was cool. I got to meet a lot of people I never met and see a bunch of people that I haven't seen in a while and camp and stuff. And I think we did that like a week right before a tour, the Canadian tour. So it was fun to like have a little vacation before the tour. So
that was cool.
yeah.
From what I understand, Jason is playing another Muddy Roots.
Good. He needs to.
It's going to be in September next year.
It was awesome. It was awesome to see Wayne Hancock and Billy Joe Shaver with like 100 people.
Right. It was very intimate. That's the nice thing about that. It's, you know, it's sucky for those that didn't go to that, but for us that did go. It was a good time.
Yeah, I fell asleep. I passed out pretty much, drinking a lot of moonshine, and I said to my buddies, I was like, "Wake me up for Billy Joe," and then I wake up and everybody's gone. All my moonshine is stolen, and I hear Billy Joe Shaver. I think it was his only like second song, so I was just like, I finally like stumbled across that huge field and finally got there, and everybody was drinking my moonshine. Because I found a moonshine guy who had like a caravan, and you took his like floorboards off, and he had like hundreds of jars of moonshine. So for every 6 that I sold, he gave me a bunch for free.
Nice.
So I wouldn't tell anybody where I got the moonshine from, and I was like, you can only get it from me, and I had like 5. I think I sold like 30 jars of moonshine.
I know you did. I know you did.
I was broke, so I needed a way to get some free shit.
Well, the only kind I got was the peach.
Yeah.
That was from Joanna.
It wasn't really that strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? So, I want to talk about where you grew up.
Where I grew up. I grew up in New England. Mostly North Shore, Boston, Massachusetts, and southern seacoast, New Hampshire. And my mom lived near Boston, my dad lived up in New Hampshire, and I was a problem child, so I was kind of moving back and forth quite a bit.
I see.
So, yeah, I switched a couple different high schools, but my formative years, like, 10 to 18, were pretty much in New Hampshire. And, yeah, it's a pretty small little state. I skated, surfed, grew up on the beach. Listened to punk rock music, did stupid 12-year-old mischief bullshit, skateboarding, breaking stuff. Yeah, and
when did you get into music?
I got into music. My mom was a piano player. So when I was 5, she got me piano lessons from her piano teacher, which I don't remember anymore. I was so young. And then I was real big into sports when I was a kid. So I did lots of soccer, lots of baseball. I did some basketball, but I wasn't really that awesome at basketball. Even though these long arms are pretty good for rebounds, that's what I used to do pretty good at. But mostly baseball. And then I started getting into skateboarding and that whole lifestyle in kind of anti-jock lifestyle, so I kind of quit playing sports and took up skateboarding.
You're hanging out on the grassy knolls?
Yeah, which led me into, the punk rock scene and that type of music, and I started off I got a guitar when I was 12, I got an electric guitar, and Nirvana and like all those bands were real big at that time. It was in the early '90s. So of course I learned how to play all that type. I grew up learning like Nirvana and Metallica and Megadeth and whatever was on MTV at that time, you know, because that's all I had. I had no other.
Outlet.
Yeah, I lived in literally a little tiny town that had one cop, and the closest music store was like 10 miles away. So, Strawberries. I don't know if everybody remembers Strawberries, but we used to go there, and my mom would buy me cassettes and Alice in Chains, you know, bands like that. So, I got into playing guitar by myself in a room when I was 12. I took a couple lessons, but nothing really stuck, and I just kind of fiddled around with guitar. Didn't really know anything until I was about 18, and then I saw a rockabilly band play, and I didn't know what rockabilly or psychobilly was. And pretty much saw an upright bass player, and I was like, I have to play that. So
Did you start off doing slap bass, or did you end up?
I just saw the slap bass guy going nuts on that thing, and I was like, I didn't even know that that instrument could make that pop sound. I thought it was a drummer, and somebody's like, no, that's the upright bass, and I was like, I was just fascinated with it, and I was like, I have to learn that, I have to do it. So I got one, and I was already listening to psychobilly music by then, Demented Argo and Necromantics and Mad Sin and a bunch of bands like that. So I was trying to learn how to do like the crazy fast stuff like Kim Necroman. And then I went to a psychobilly festival in New Jersey, 2000, and saw like all the upright bass players playing. And I went home and I studied them, I watched them, I went home and I was like, I got this now. And then I started a rockabilly band, Satan's Teardrops. I put like a ad in the back of a music store, like upright bass player looking to start a band, and this guy called me, and he was, I mean, New Hampshire's so small, it was only like 5 of us, you know, so like, we got like this skinhead guy to play drums, and this like crazy old punk rock dude to play rhythm guitar, and we started that band, and I had no idea what I was doing, I just kind of learned as we were playing.
I don't know if a lot of people know that about you, but there's, you know, as far as you being in Satan's Teardrops, but I was reading up on you, and there's a particular song that when you started learning it, that would make you throw up.
Right. Well, when I joined that band, I was like 18 or 19, and all the other guys were in their mid-20s, so they thought it was real fun to like get me as fucked up as possible. So I was like the young guy, like, oh, it's real funny, let's get Zach fucking wasted. So I would, and I would always be drunk, and we would play this song, Shallow Grave, and it was real fast, I mean, super fast song. So I would puke.
Just
Pretty
'cause it was
much
so intense.
all the time. My mom would come out to see the shows, and she like couldn't believe that she was grossed out. And yeah, it was just so fast and so intense that it was an instrumental song. I wrote most of it, and yeah, it was kind of like people expected it.
That was part of your stage presence.
Almost, yeah.
Play
But I
show,
didn't
yeah,
like.
fun
But
it.
even if I didn't want to, I would still puke. I got over it after a while, but yeah, we played this. We played the Heavy Rebel like festival in 2002, I think, maybe, or 2001.
It was the second year of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty early on, and I puked all over the stage, and my bass broke, and it was just like a big mess, and everybody was just cheering, and we were like, all right, I guess that's cool.
I was looking something up. Did you end up playing CBGB's before it closed?
Mm-hmm. In Satan's Teardrops, we played there
2000.
maybe like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times. I'd have to go through, but I actually have the recordings of those shows, and I haven't listened to them about, whatever, 10 years or whatever. It sucked. We were wasted. We really
like listening to
fucking...
it,
I'm just like, ugh, I can't believe we fucked up a bunch.